Hey guys, it's Bear here with Journey to Preparedness, helping you prepare for your doomsday, but your everyday. So this is the video version of podcast number 34, and this it's a little update of COVID-19, if you will, and just some things that kind of stuck out to me, and how the government is using this for more control. And I know a lot of people out there say, well, they're just trying to stop the spread and stop the curve, and that's I get that. That's fine. That's what you want to tell yourself because that's what the media is feeding you. But I'm not buying in, man. I'm not. Listen, there's an article out there, and I'll leave a link to it. I linked it in the podcast, and I'll leave a link to it below this video, and you can take it for what you want. This is just my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever you want to call it. This is how I feel, and this is my opinion. There's an article out there that talks about how 80% of the people, and we actually just seen it now since I put out the actual audio podcast, since this is an updated video version, you can see that, who's the senator? Paul, just tested positive for the coronavirus and showed zero symptoms. He simply got tested because he was out and about with a bunch of people, through his schedule and stuff like that, and he tested positive. And that leads right into what this article says. This article basically said that 80% of the people who had it did not have any symptoms or didn't know they had it when they tested positive, kind of thing. This is not U.S., but this is globally. And so if that's the case, if you are telling me that only 20% of the people who have tested positive are the people, excuse me, if you're telling me that of the people who tested positive, that only makes up 20% of the people who have it, that number, like that the death rate then drastically drops. It goes from like 3.9, I believe it was last time I checked, down to like 0.7%. Okay, so that rate goes from being a concern to less than the flu. So everybody who is, and I had a lady, or I shouldn't say lady, I had somebody comment to me on my last podcast on the website journeytopreparedness.net. Shameless plug. But she had commented, or this person had commented to me about how this is a real virus, and I shouldn't, and I never said it wasn't a real virus, so I don't understand where that came from. But my belief has always been that they're making this worse than it is. And I understand that if everybody were to get it at once, and if everybody got it to the extreme that it can possibly get to, and everybody needed ventilators, that would put a serious strain on our medical system, and our medical system isn't built to handle that. But the truth is that the flu affects way more people. And in history, the H1N1 affected way more people and killed way more people, and we didn't go to these extremes. And I understand that this can survive longer, than the H1N1 could, just on like surfaces being airborne and stuff like that. But that's completely irrelevant in this. If you look at the bigger picture, if you open your mind and open your eyes to the bigger picture, and this is actually about government control. So if the people who've tested positive only make up 20% of the actual cases of this out there, which means that there is an additional 80% of people out there who do not have any symptoms, who do not know that they currently have this virus, this COVID-19, think about the numbers then. Think about how much that drops the mortality, the death rate of this virus. Okay? If you just go take the latest numbers right now, all right, and do the math yourself. That makes up 20% of the people who actually have this virus, and then do the division to figure out what percentage that is for the death rate, and it is less than the flu, and again, the fact that Paul got it. It just reiterates that fact to me. It makes this story. It just validates this story to me. That's coming out of the journal Science, or Science Journal, or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but I'll leave a link to it below. But it just validates that to me. That is becoming more and more accurate. So it's not what they're making it out to be. And I understand, people keep telling me, oh, they're doing it to stop the curve, and okay, fine, but they're doing it to test our willingness to be under control. That's all it is. At the time that the podcast came out, originally San Francisco had shut down. Now it's the whole state of California, New York, Ohio. They keep adding to the list, shutting down everything that is non-essential, telling people to stay home. And they're shutting down, restaurants and bars, and I understand. If you want to shut down the government schools, that's fine. Government buildings, that's fine. You want to stop that, I get it. It is stuff that is funded through the government. It's tax dollars that come from our money, but we've given you that control. That is our our own issue. That's the fact that we've given you control of that, and so you do what you will with the government stuff, but private industries, private businesses, you forcing them to shut down and close their doors is an overreach of government. I'm sorry. No matter what you think of what they're trying to do in the name of the health and safety of the public, it is an overstep of the government to tell a business they have to shut their doors. And then in Ohio, there was a bar that didn't shut its doors, and the police came in, removed the people, boarded up the building, and now that mayor in that town wants to permanently revoke their liquor and food licenses. Basically shut that guy out of business forever. Forever. And now I just seen it here in Wisconsin. The same thing happened. They found out that somebody was there, and they kicked him out, and now he's facing 30 days in jail for remaining open. It's a private business. He is the owner of that business. If he wants to remain open, that is his choice. And if people want to continue to go there, that is their choice. They are grown-ass adults who can make their own life decisions. That's the facts. And you know what? Yeah, I understand it may become a burden on our health system, and that's a choice you have to make. All right? And if you're willing to sacrifice that, then that's on you. I have no right to tell you that you can or can't do it. And it's your money that you're going to have to spend to pay those doctor bills. That's on you. That's not on me. All right? If you're worried about the burden on the healthcare system, that's why we have the healthcare system. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone here. Maybe some people are more willing to be controlled than others. I am not. I'm not for government control. I'm sorry. I don't agree with socialism. I don't agree with communism. I agree in limited government. I believe in no government, but I'm willing to accept limited government. But the fact that we are willing as a people to sit down and let them control us and tell us what we can and can't do from a private industry standpoint is just their test. They're using this to test us and want to see how far they can take it, and how willingly we are to accept it if it's done in the name of the health and safety of the public. I said it last week, say it again, and I'll continue to say it, and hopefully maybe a few people will start to realize it, and maybe it'll open their eyes. When the true numbers come out, here's the thing. So the media on this whole COVID-19, right? They're not giving us, they're giving us the cases, and they're continuing to pile on new cases. Sorry, my bad. They're continuing to pile on the numbers of the new cases, and they're giving us the death rates. They're not giving us any recovery cases. They're not giving us any numbers on the recoveries. You actually have to go and do that research on your own, but I haven't seen it on any media source. Nobody's giving you the number of cases that have recovered. Interesting, huh? They can't spread paranoia. They can't spread the paranoia, right? The fear in you to make you willing to be under the thumb of the government if you know the fact that the recovery rate is great, and that people have already recovered from it and are over it and it's done with, right? And if they know, and if you know that, hey, you know, this only makes up 20% of the people who have it, and a lot of them have already recovered, and this death rate isn't, as high as they say it is, then you aren't willing to be controlled. If you are willing to think for yourself and look outside of what they're telling you and look at the bigger picture and think on your own and look at the bigger numbers and do a little research for yourself, you might not be as willing to be controlled. And maybe some of you should start doing that. Like, we can't accept this stuff, guys. This is how it starts. This is how they started. And the next time, this will pass. This is going to pass. It's not going to be the pandemic that's going to end the world. This will pass, and there will be another one. And the next one, they're going to take it a little bit further. They're going to continue to take it a little bit further and see what we're willing to accept. And as long as they keep telling you that they have our best interests at heart, and they're doing it for our health and our safety, and you keep buying into that, they're just going to keep pushing that line. Alright? Till next week, this has been Bear with Journey to Preparedness, helping you prepare not like your doomsday, but your everyday. Peace.